At the beginning of the film, we observe two very religious girls who have decided to dedicate their lives to serving God. In passing, the girls discuss the subject of sexual relations. Sister Paxton tells that she once saw an amateur film with this action. Then, the activity was interrupted by the screaming of a woman behind the wall. Sister Paxton noticed that the actress at that moment seemed to wonder what she was doing with her life. Sister Barnes teases her friend, asking if she often watches films like this. The girls then return to a more serious topic, as Sister Paxton is worried that she has never been able to convert anyone. Sister Barnes tries to reassure her friend, but inappropriately mentions that she has already converted about 9 people. After the conversation, the sisters go for a walk, during which they try to talk to people about God. However, their attempts to convert passers-by fail. At a pedestrian crossing, Sister Paxton notices some popular girls. They decide to take a picture with her and then unexpectedly pull down her skirt. Sister Barnes notices that her friend is crying the rest of the way. She doesn't comfort Sister Paxton, but draws her attention to the last house they can enter to talk about God. The friends leave their bicycles near the gate and go to the front door. It begins to rain heavily, but the door soon opens, and the sisters see the owner of the house. Mr. Reed speaks to the sisters friendly and confirms that he would like to know more about their church. The landlord invites the girlfriends inside. However, Barnes asks a clarifying question about his wife. The girl explains that they are not allowed to enter the house if there is only a man in the house. Mr. Reed replies that his wife is at home baking a cake, so they needn't worry. The landlord helps the sisters take off their coats and says he's going into the kitchen for a bit. Sister Barnes pays attention to the butterfly, while her friend looks at the photos and the furnishings in the house. Mr. Reed's house seems quite cozy and peaceful. Soon the owner himself returns. After offering the sisters a drink, Mr. Reed sits down on the sofa and begins to talk about faith. The man is very interested in the issues of different doctrines and the reasons for the decline of religion in the modern world. Barnes is slightly alarmed by such conversations, but her friend feels completely comfortable. Mr. Reed also learns the family history of both girls. It turns out that Barnes's father passed away due to a serious illness, after which she and her mother began looking for a faith that suited them. After this topic, the dialogue gradually fades. Sister Paxton says that after passing away, she would like to become a butterfly. Then, she could sit in the arms of her loved ones, and they would know that she is there. Suddenly, the light goes out in the house. Mr. Reed apologizes and offers to discuss the last topic before they start the pie. A man asks what the sisters think about polygamy. The practice used to be considered acceptable and even described in scripture, but was abolished in the 19th century because it was unsavory. Barnes interjects and says that polygamy used to be necessary to increase the number of parishioners, but that it is no longer necessary. Mr. Reed decides to change the subject a little and talks about fast food and its diversity. From his point of view, the various denominations are just like fast food, which gives pleasure to some, displeases others, and doesn't bring people any closer to the truth and God. According to the master of the house, the sacred will of God is transmitted through people who are sinful and vicious. And how, from this point of view, can it be said that this will have not been distorted? Mr. Reed says that the last thing he wanted to find during his research work was true religion, but unfortunately, he found it. Such conversations seem quite disturbing to the sisters. Barnes asks the master of the house to invite his wife to join them. As Mr. Reed leaves, the girl notices the candle and turns it. The name Blueberry Pie shocks Barnes. She realizes that the landlord has lied to them about his wife cooking something in the kitchen. Mr. Reed soon returns and invites the girls to follow him. He pretends that his wife has an important phone call. When the master of the house leaves, the girl suggests Sister Paxton to escape from this strange house. The girls desperately try to open the door or call someone they know, but nothing works. The sisters walk down a dark corridor and enter a strange room that looks like a scaled-down replica of a church. Mr. Reed is friendly with Barnes, although he is upset that they are about to leave. The landlord gives the girls their coats, but when they ask to open the front door, he says it is impossible. Mr. Reed's house is on a special timer and the door won't open until morning. However, the landlord suggests that the sisters leave through the back door. Mr. Reed also says the girls are free to leave at any minute of their own free will. The fact is that his house has metal in the walls that jams phone calls. Therefore, their pretext with the call, the owner of the house immediately unraveled. Sister Paxton again asks Mr. Reed to call his wife. The man is about to leave, but turns around at the last moment and asks if they really believe he is married, although the candle, the absence of an oven, and the woman's things indicate otherwise. Mr. Reed says people tend to believe what they've been told, especially when it comes to faith. This is why the landlord left the candle on the table, so that Barnes and her friend would realize that not everything they hear from trustworthy people is true. The girl interrupts Mr. Reed and asks if they can definitely come out. The landlord confirms this and offers them a choice of 2 doors. Barnes opens each and can't believe his eyes. Both lead to the cellar. Meanwhile, the elder of the church where the sisters work notices that they haven't returned, despite the bad weather. At this point, Sister Barnes asks why both doors lead to the basement. Mr. Reed explains with a smile that his house is on a slope, which means that the back door will inevitably go through the basement. The homeowner also mentions that it is very important which door they choose. Barnes tries to reassure her friend and asks Mr. Reed to explain his words. The landlord talks about Monopoly, and a completely identical game that was created by a woman 30 years before Monopoly existed. Mr. Reed also links this example to faith. The host believes that Judaism is the first unknown game, Christianity is a popular Monopoly, and Islam is the newest re-release of the Monopoly. Mr. Reed believes that the original source always has fewer followers because it doesn't have good advertising. The landlord believes that the sisters are just advertising their product, a particular faith, at this point. Mr. Reed talks about 12 other ancient gods whose stories are identical to that of Jesus. The landlord is convinced that existing religions and their books are a farce, just like Monopoly. Mr. Reed asks the girls to choose between 2 doors on the basis that one is faith and the other is unbelief. Sister Paxton is willing to go out the second door to please the master of the house. However, Barnes resists the idea. She believes that Mr. Reed is playing with them and wants to test their true beliefs. The girls exit through the door of faith and enter a circular room. Sister Barnes gets on a table and pulls off a board, hoping to reach the window. The girl gives Paxton the gun, and they agree on a code word. At this point, a scary figure enters the room with a blueberry pie. Mr. Reed, on the other hand, observes the girls as he plays with their figures. The man calls the strange figure a prophetess and says she can reveal a miracle to them. According to Mr. Reed, the woman can die and be resurrected. However, as he is about to demonstrate this, the doorbell rings. The sisters guess that it is the elder, concerned about their absence. Mr. Reed manages to convince the priest that no one has visited him. In the meantime, the sisters get matches to light his jacket and give a smoke signal. However, their attempt is interrupted by the resurrection of the prophetess. The lady speaks of a white light, a guide, and some untruth. Reed, who appears, takes the prophetess away and says she is a real miracle. Barnes gets into an argument with the master of the house. The girl deliberately annoys Mr. Reed to give Sister Paxton the opportunity to take his life. However, the landlord ends up taking Barnes's life himself. Mr. Reed finds a metal piece in the girl's hand and tells her that she won't be resurrected, as she was not real. The man tells Paxton about the simulation, which can be exited by death. The sister says she doesn't believe in that theory. Paxton believes that Mr. Reed took advantage of the elder's arrival to distract the girls. At that point, a prophetess-like woman substituted by coming out of a secret passage. At the end, she spoke some untruth, and Paxton is certain that the lady was trying to convey to the sisters that the master of the house was lying to them about the resurrection. With Mr. Reed's permission, the sister searches for the supposed secret passage and discovers it. Paxton finds another basement with many women locked in cages. Sister communicates with Mr. Reed, who appears. Paxton guesses that the master of the house considers the only religion is control. Mr. Reed rejoices at the sister's cleverness. He is certain that since childhood, all of Paxton's decisions and thoughts have been secretly controlled, which is why even today, a stranger managed to lead her to the place he wanted her to go. Mr. Reed decides that he has already won, because the sister's willpower and her sense of reality are subordinate to him. Suddenly, however, Sister Paxton decides to use her weapon. After wounding the owner of the house, the sister runs out of the creepy basement with the girls in cages. Paxton reaches the room with the altar, but the door leading to freedom is closed. The sister is forced to return to the basement, where Barnes is lying. There, Paxton is overtaken by a man who seriously injures her. Unexpectedly, Barnes comes to the aid of the girl, who remains alive despite her wound. With the help of a board, the girl takes the life of the owner of the house. Having mourned for her friend, who has left this world after all, Paxton gets out. The girl is sitting on the snow when a butterfly lands on her hand. However, the insect disappears as quickly as it appears, which brings to mind the simulation that Mr. Reed was so obsessed with. This is the end of the film. Thank you all for watching this video to the end. Give this video a like, write in the comments what you think about this film, and see you in new videos.